For those looking to improve their lives, there's nobody better to turn to than Paula Shaw. Paula helps people regain successful lives by identifying and eliminating self-sabotaging behavior using a multitude of mind-body techniques to identify and resolve their core issues. Working with a wide variety of healing modalities, she provides her clients with the most effective process for their specific needs. To book a session with Paula, call 858-480-9234. That's 858-480-9234.
Let's go! It's the James Cooley Show! It's your life! Dr. James Cooley! All right.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley and his guest will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore them or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley, and his guests will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Yeah. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Yeah.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. Wow, we got an absolutely fantastic show coming your way. As you know, it's Thursday and Bridges Beyond Grief. So we got a guest co-host here, which is Paula Shaw. How are you doing, Paula? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. And I'm so glad to be with you guys. This is always my favorite place to be on Thursdays. Okay. And I think we're doing some great stuff and bringing your listeners a lot of really cool people with good information. And today will be no exception.
Wow, we got a good friend of both of us that's going to be on the show today. Michelle, I'm not going to give it away. She gave me that look like I was getting ready to give it away. You know, so
I know. And doesn't Michelle look chic today with that hair pulled back and everything? I told her, looks like a movie star.
Oh, she's gorgeous like that every single day. Every single day.
I know. She's your movie star.
Absolutely. So I tell you what, whichever platform that you're watching us on, whether it's E360 Television, Transfer TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Rumble, and over 84 other platforms, welcome to the show. Now, if you want to be part of this great conversation that we're going to have, all you have to do is just go to the comments on the platform that you're watching us on, ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. How you doing, Dr. Cooley? How you doing?
I'm doing great. And, you know, the three of you, well, the guests included, and you and Paula have something in common with this guest today. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I can't wait to introduce him.
Can you do the honors by introducing the title of the show, purpose of the show, and introduce this absolutely magnificent guest that we got?
Most definitely. So the title of today's show is called Uniting for Good. Guest host Paula Shaw, life transition expert, grief specialist, keynote speaker, media host, and author, She and all of us at the show is having a sit-down conversation with Louis Carranza. He's the 2025-2026 District Governor for Rotary District 5340. They'll talk about what is Rotary and how is it a bridge for people dealing with pain and loss, groups and causes that Rotary support, important overriding principle of Rotary, and the types of people attracted to Rotary. So let's talk to you about our guest today. Louis Carranza is honored to serve as the 2025-2026 District Governor for Rotary District 5340, which encompasses San Diego and Imperial counties, a region rich in diversity, culture, and Rotary spirit. Louis is passionate and dedicated Rotarian with over 20 years of service, a proud member of the Rotary Club of Rancho, Santa Fe. He has served as club president, chaired his club's signature fundraising event, the Taste of Rancho, Santa Fe. Woo-hoo. He strongly believes that the heart of Rotary is our individual inspiration and shared purpose. As district governor, one of his greatest passions is to remind every Rotarian why they joined Rotary and to help rekindle that original spark of service, fellowship, and hope that inspired them. You know, Louis's governor's theme for this year is inspired Rotary's call to unite for good. And by his message, don't miss the bus, a call to action for Rotarians to embrace every opportunity to serve, lead, and create lasting change. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Louis Carranza.
Yay!
There's a lot of history in this room.
Yes, there is.
How you doing, Louis? It's been a while, man. It's been a while.
It's been a long time. It's such an honor to be here. There's a lot of history here, and it goes back a lot of years, but it's all good, and I love it. So
It's all good. One thing,
You know what, you guys, I think we should explain to people, because they may not be clear what our history is, and I don't want any misunderstandings. We're all Rotarians, and actually I met JC through that event. That's our big fundraiser every year, the Rancho Santa Fe Club, the Taste of Rancho Santa Fe. It's a wine and food event. It's amazing, and it's coming up again October 5th. But JC and his wonderful foundation were a beneficiary and participants in the Taste many years ago. And that's the connection between me and these two gentlemen.
Oh yeah, and plus, Louis.
I was a rookie. Right?
I don't know if you still live in Temecula or you moved out to Rancho Santa Fe, but Louis used to live right up the street from me. How you doing, my friend?
I've been back and forth from downtown San Diego to Temecula, so trying to work my way back to San Diego again.
You know, so can you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit more about you? Why you're so passionate about Rotary? Why you're doing all the great things that you're doing to, bring service to others before self?
Well, I think a lot of my journey began as a young kid. When I was, and I didn't realize it. When I was a young kid, I used to work at Grossman Hospital as a volunteer, and I wanted to be a doctor initially. And so I felt like, this is a calling for me to go and volunteer. And the first place that they assigned me to was the oncology department. And I was just sharing that story. Recently in one of my visits to a club, and how it touched me to be in those rooms with a lot of elderly people who were in most cases alone. Sometimes they didn't have any family to visit them. And I realized all of a sudden that these people were needing just company, a hand to be held. They needed to be fed. They just needed to have presence. And that's when I realized that my role in there, although as a volunteer, was actually providing service to the community, to those people. And I learned that every moment that I was there throughout the months and throughout those next 3 years was important. Sadly, I also learned that those people sometimes, they obviously had to pass away, and I sometimes had to roll those carts downstairs in the basements once they had passed away. And so I learned a lot about appreciating life and at a very young age. And so I think I didn't realize that those were the first steps of like realizing that volunteering and being there presently and serving was such an important part of my foundation in life. And so, but again, the first steps of what were to be later on in my future.
Louis, that is a beautiful story. And all of the years I've known you, I never knew that. I never heard that. Yeah. Wow. So yeah, you kind of were a Rotarian by default, even when you were young, because you were already learning that being of service to others is its own special reward. And I think that's kind of the core of Rotary. But, you know, on this show, what we usually try to do, Louis, is either have a guest who has suffered extreme loss and grief and found a bridge to the other side, and they share that information, or somebody who is a bridge or represents a group that is a bridge. And I think it just hit me a little bit back when I was thinking about what guest I'd like to have today. Rotary is a huge bridge. There's in so many ways. So would you talk a little bit about that? What is it about Rotary and what Rotary does that can be a bridge for people dealing with loss and pain and grief?
You know, Paula, that's a really great question. And I mean, there's so many ways of answering. So I'll try to make it kind of like condense it in a simple but yet loving way. I think to describe Rotary, I would say Rotary is a global network of people who believe in doing good in the world. And but more than that, it's a family. And I think that's really important to emphasize. It's a family. And it's a place where people from all walks of life come together, and not just to serve others, but also to heal and to connect and rediscover purpose. I believe for someone dealing with pain or loss, Rotary offers something more powerful. It offers community and hope and action. When you're hurting, sometimes the best medicine, and Paula, you probably know this, is helping someone else. And Rotary gives you that outlet. It says you're not alone and your life still matters. And I would say when you're in Rotary, you may show up to serve, but what often someone finds is that Rotary ends up serving you too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so true. And in ways, you know, like I was just thinking about a couple of years ago, I had that emergency appendectomy, and you know, I had to be home healing. And I remember getting a text, I think it was from Paulette, with the whole group. She videoed the whole group saying, "Hi, Paula, get well. We miss you." And that just lit up my heart, you know, and it just was such a wonderful, helpful, healing thing. So in that way, those Rotary brothers and sisters do become family. And I see JC's popped in here, so I have a feeling we got to go to break in a minute. But
yeah, we're going to take a station break because I don't want to get into another question and we have to cut it off. Now, I'll tell you what, whichever platform that you're watching us on, if you want to be part of this great conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments, ask any question that you might have. I promise you, Louis will get you an answer. It's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break.
Doctor, James, JC, Cooley, the James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Welcome to Viridian Christian University, where faith and learning come together to transform lives. At VCU, we believe that education is more than just academics. It's about fostering a community of growth, integrity, and purpose. Whether you're pursuing a bachelor's, master's, or doctorate, VCU offers flexible, affordable, and 100% online degree programs that cater to your busy life. Our innovative platform provides a personalized learning experience, empowering you to thrive in today's ever-evolving world. Join a global community of learners guided by an experienced faculty who are committed to your success. With VCU, you're not just earning a degree, you're preparing for a future that integrates faith, leadership, and service. Meridian Christian University, educating with purpose, transforming lives. Learn more at VeridianChristianUniversity.com. VeridianChristianUniversity.com.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
For those looking to improve their lives, there's nobody better to turn to than Paula Shaw. Paula helps people regain successful lives by identifying and eliminating self-sabotaging behavior using a multitude of mind-body techniques to identify and resolve their core issues. Working with a wide variety of healing modalities, she provides her clients with the most effective process for their specific needs. To book a session with Paula, call 858-480-9234. That's 858-480-9234.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, and Paula is co-hosting, as you already know that. And we got this absolutely fantastic guest here that we've both been knowing for many, many years, and he is doing some wonderful, wonderful things in the communities, not just Rotary, but Rotary is, I tell you, Rotary helps make everyone's lives better because it's service before self. Service before self. And we talking to the man, the district governor right here. And been knowing Lord a long time, a great guy. And always have these ideas to put out there in Rotary life to make lives better. So I'm gonna turn it back over to you, Paula.
Okay. So in our last segment, Lewis, we were talking a lot about how Rotary can be this bridge to help people in need, to help people in pain, even to help people who are sick. Let's talk about eradicating polio and some of the other causes that Rotary has been instrumental in helping.
So Rotary helps people and communities in so many ways, and locally and globally. And like you said, some of the causes closest to our hearts in Rotary include ending polio, which Rotary has helped reduce global polio cases by over 99%. We're so close of eliminating it worldwide. We have just isolated cases right now in Pakistan and Afghanistan, and some of the reasons we're not there just yet is because it's so hard to get into some of those villages where there's conflict. And what's so sad sometimes is that the volunteers that go out there to try to get the polio vaccine out there, sometimes their sacrifice is losing their lives. And so some people don't know those stories, but we're trying really hard. And I think that this generation could look back one day and say that we were part of eliminating that disease. And so it would be a tremendous historical opportunity for us to be part of that. The other thing that Rotary also focuses on is clean water and sanitation, and that's bringing safe water to areas where people walk miles for a drink. And I know this has been a cause even for our local Rotary Rancho Santa Fe, where we've opened opportunities to create wells in Sudan, for example, in the past years. But many clubs around the world help in those causes, and Rotary is one of them that focuses on that. Also, maternal and child health, supporting young mothers in hospitals and clinics. Another one is education and literacy, building schools, libraries, and scholarships. I know that many of our local clubs, and also around all over Rotary, I mean, they come together, they raise funds, and they do this. And some of the stories of clubs just coming together to help causes around the world, Latin America, Asia, and Africa, it's just amazing. Also, another focus of Rotary is peace and conflict resolutions, funding peace fellowships around the world. And also youth programs. We have from leadership camps like Rotary Youth Leadership Academies to scholarships, speech contests, Interact clubs, which include middle school and high school students learning how to be part of service at a very young age. But also Rotary can respond to times of crisis, whether it's a natural disaster, refugee needs, or hunger. And in other words, like where there's pain, we're going to try to bring relief, and more importantly, also love.
And I'm not sure everybody understands that Rotary is a service organization. You know, many people have heard of the Lions Club, of all the other names escape me right now, but that's the basis of Rotary. So people come because they want probably to be of service, but also something I heard, and I can't remember if it was at convention, Luis, or not, but somebody was saying one of the most wonderful things about Rotary is it gives me, the individual, the opportunity to be of impact in such a bigger way, to be of service in such a bigger way, because I, Paula Shaw, can only do so much as an individual. But as a member of a Rotary club that may raise thousands of dollars that we're then going to give away to people and organizations in need, I'm allowed to be much more effective than I would be as an individual. And I love that idea, Louis, that, you know, we can be effective in bigger ways.
Yes, I think that a lot of people don't realize that individually we can do a lot. Absolutely. Together as a family, as a team, we can be much stronger. Recently in February, I was with my president-elects, which we called them that before they become presidents.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things I did right before we started was an icebreaker. And that icebreaker was about writing your name in a balloon and then putting them all in a hallway. And then everybody had to, like, within seconds, try to find their name, their own name. And within they only had a few seconds, and not everyone could find their name. So then I stopped and I said, okay, now for those that don't have a name, now help them find their names. And then they had a few more seconds to find the other people who didn't have balloons, that couldn't find their names. And immediately everyone found everyone else's name. The moral of the whole thing behind the icebreaker and the story is that when you work individually, it might be a little bit harder to accomplish something, but when you work together in unison, you become more powerful. You work together and you get things accomplished a lot more. And I think that's what really Rotary is about. It's an opportunity to serve together as a family and create more, I would say, love letters.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So true. You know, one of the things that's become really a huge piece in my life, Rotary opened my awareness to, and that was, it might have even been the year that, maybe it was the year right after you, but every district governor has a theme, something that they're working toward in their year of being district governor. And that particular year, it was Steve Weitzen, and he wanted to open up awareness about human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
That changed my life. I did a class that the city was providing. I met Summer Steffen, who is the San Diego district attorney and will be our guest in a couple of weeks. And just 2 days ago, I helped for the sixth time, helped host an event to open up awareness about human trafficking that we held at the Family Justice Center here in San Marcos, One Safe Place. So here was an impact I never expected that took my life in a direction I didn't expect. And so I think we not only help other people who have needs, we help ourselves through what we gain in our interaction with others in Rotary. Either of you want to speak to that a little bit?
Well, if I have a couple of minutes, James, before
you got a couple minutes. I'm gonna ask a question in a few minutes, but you got a couple of minutes to speak.
So I would say that my theme for the district is called "Don't Miss the Bus," and how I call it, it's a call to stay awake, to not just attend a Rotary meeting, but to live Rotary.
Mm-hmm.
And so to not just not talk about membership, but to care deeply about each other's hearts, stories, and struggles. Because what I say is the bus doesn't stop for long, and some people don't know how to wave it down. Some never believed that they were invited to ride in the first place. And I always talk about the homeless veteran sleeping in their car, the mother fleeing abuse, the immigrant afraid to speak, the elder shut in with no one to check on them, the child crying themselves to sleep with hunger pangs, or trafficking survivor begging to be seen. These people, they're on the curb watching the world go by. And Rotary, we are the bus. And so we as Rotarians, we cannot afford to pass them by. And so for me, it's like, this is the time for us, again, using the bus team to pull over and open the door and wave them on board and say, you matter, and there's a seat for you. And so that's a little bit of like a little glimpse of what the bus is all about. And funny enough, the bus team came because of a district conference cruise I had last year, where there was 2 seats left, and there was a couple behind me who only spoke English in Ensenada, and I had 1 seat, and that was mine. And I said, no, they don't know Spanish, and I don't want to break them up. And I said, you guys go take the seat. Because that's what Rotarians do. That's what good people with good hearts do, because we got always, and I wasn't looking for applause or news flash or anything. It's just that's what we do, right? And so somebody a year later trying to poke at me and says, I heard you missed the bus. And then I had to tell them, no, I gave up my seat. And that's how the theme came. And then, so now you know.
So we got about 2 minutes, a little bit more than 2 minutes before the break. But what are some of the ongoing social problems, issues that Rotary is working on, i.e. education, health, just teaching folks how to get a job and stuff like that, to better understand?
So I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last part. What?
I said, what are some of the recent and ongoing Rotary projects that are addressing major social issues like health, education, clean water? I know you mentioned that a minute ago.
Yeah, so some of the projects that are going on worldwide, for example, they are looking at places where they are trying to educate, trying to build schools for education for students, for young people. In some cases where, I'll give you a perfect example. Recently, I met some people down in Mexico who came to me and said they have a school in Uruapan, Michoacan, where these students actually, when they meet under a tent. So it doesn't matter if it's super hot, super cold. These kids do not have a roof, an actual place to actually study. So they started raising some money, and they just started the process of building the school. I think they're like about maybe 50, 60% complete, but they're still short like probably 7,000 to 8,000 right now to complete the school. But in the process of building the school, they also found that some of these kids don't show up consistently because they're afraid to tell the teacher or teachers that they don't have money to buy food. So they go hungry. So what started off as a project like let's get them a roof so they can study turned out to be like, oh my gosh, these kids are literally starving to death. So the project actually became more of a bigger project, not only to help them have a school where they can actually go there and not be burning hot or having cold. It's about also feeding them. So now what I did was I came back, shared that story with a local club here in San Diego, and then they put us recently a fundraising event, and then what funds that they were able to raise, they send them over to Uruapan. And so again, every little bit helps, and that's what Rotarians are about. It's like, but hopefully that school will be completed sometime by the end of this year. But I mean, you look at the videos of these kids literally not having even a regular school to be able to have a rooftop, and having to also not have food consistently. It literally breaks your heart, because just when you think, you start to appreciate what we have here, but you also realize there's a lot of people out there that still need help. And so that's just one of, I could tell you thousands of stories that are out there.
Yeah, hold that thought, Louis. We're going to take a break, and I want to come back. I want to hear them all. I'm enjoying this conversation. I know that many that did not know what Rotary, really stand for and what they do. You're getting a lesson right here. So if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the comment section. The question that you might have, I promise you, will get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle Cooley. Heart disease research saves lives. It's that simple. Thanks to medical advancements funded by the American Heart Association, more women are surviving heart attacks, strokes, and other cardiovascular diseases than ever before. But there's still so much work to do.
Hi, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and I'm raising funds to support life-saving research, because every heartbeat is worth fighting for. In honor of Women's History Month, please join me in support of the American Heart Association and women's health.
The future is here.
Now is the time to pursue the greatness in you. Welcome to Viridian Christian University, where faith meets future. We are a fully accredited, 100% online Christian university. We offer bachelor's degree, master's and doctorate degree programs, built for students like you. Affordable tuitions, 30+ degree programs, 100% online and flexible. Integrating faith with learning. Study from anywhere at your pace. At VCU, we do not just prepare you for a degree. We prepare you for purpose. Discover who you are. Grow in faith. And build a future that impacts the world.
Are you ready to start your journey today?
Visit www.viridianchristianuniversity.com.
Apply today and be among the global leaders.
welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and Bridget Brown Grief with a guest host, Paula Shaw, and she brought on an exceptional guest to talk about Rotary and a lot of other things that they're doing. And this, some of the stories that he has shared, at least the last one, it shows that, even people all over the world, especially when he mentioned Mexico, a lot of folks think they got it good in the United States, and they do, but they don't understand how it is in other places where people need help. And so by being a part of Rotary, you get an opportunity to reach out and help others and actually get a chance to go visit other places to understand that everything is not like it is that we have in the United States. So
Yes.
I want to talk about that a little bit, Paula and Louis, because a lot of people are spoiled in the United States and they don't understand that the world is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts on that, Paula?
Well, I think that is so relevant. And it kind of leads me into something that I was hoping we could get Louis to talk about, which is one of the things that Louis and I did together a year ago was we were both counselors at RILA, which is the, help me out, Louis, what does RILA stand for?
Oh, yeah, Rotary Youth Leadership Academy.
There
Awards.
we go.
Awards, yeah.
Yes, it's RYLA. And these 11th graders come from all over the county, and they spend 3 days in camp. And it is life-changing for everybody there. And I have to tell you, I don't know how you felt, Louis, but when I left there, I had no more worry about the future, because the future is in the hands of these amazing beings that we are, the young people of our country and of our world, I think. So let's talk a little bit about Rotaract, Interact, RILA. What's Rotary's major goal in doing these kinds of things with kids?
I think one of the things that Rotary is really centered and focusing is our youth, is that we're realizing that kind of imagine like you have a backyard and you need to start planting seeds, because you understand that maybe as time goes by, you need to grow your backyard, you need to grow the plants, and it's sort of the same concept with Rotary. Rotary's average age, I think it's well over 65, if I'm correct. And we've got a lot of young kids right now from ages like in the middle school and high school. And we have programs, for example, called Interact. And a lot of people aren't aware of that. And one of the things we're trying to do in our local district in San Diego is to talk more about what they're doing. But I've gotten a chance to see some of these Interactors, and you'd be amazed some of the service that they do throughout their local communities, whether that means during Valentine's Day, they'll put together like a little bags with little candies and little cards, and they'll go to like senior centers and pass out little love things, little love bags, and Happy Valentine's Day. I mean, nobody knows about these, and they're doing these things. And obviously it's important for us as Rotarians to share these stories of what the Interactors are doing, but these are middle school or high school kids that are doing this. Yeah. And what I feel is important is that, you see a lot of stuff going on, for example, in the news that's usually, I would say, 90% negative, right? Mm-hmm. Don't talk about this positive, but we can't change what's going on out there, but we can change what we're doing locally. What JC's putting on the show is actually sharing these stories. And I think what Rotary's trying to do is saying, hey, look what we have. Look what's going on in our local schools and our local middle schools with the young kids. And then you have programs like RILA, which we were talking about. It's a camp it's a camp which basically allows students to grow and become leaders, to be okay to express themselves. Mm-hmm. And it's such a wonderful opportunity. In some cases, it's 3 or 4 days of camp. And you have all these RILA camps, not just here in the United States, JC, they have it all around the world, all around the world.
I have had the opportunity to be a RILA instructor.
You did?
Yes. We a couple of times. I was actually a few years back. I was a RILA instructor of the year.
Oh my God, that's great!
During my time up there, and also Interact. I get an opportunity to go to some of the Interact classes, get invited to speak there. These are some incredible young young men and women that, like what you just said, they come up with ideas. They go out and they raise money or raise awareness and helping others out. So,
and I'll tell you, for example, several years ago, I was meeting this young woman who was 25 years old at the time, who had just finished a few years earlier her tenure at Oklahoma State, the softball team, which always seems to win the softball World Series. And she was just sharing her story that she knew I was very involved in Rotary. And she said, you know what, I have such a great memory of Rotary. And I said, really? I had no idea she knew about Rotary. And she goes, yeah, I'll never forget one of my most cherished moments growing up in high school was when I attended RILA. And I was like, what? And so that always stayed in my mind. So last year, when I was still a year away from becoming district governor, I said, I will attend RILA and I will be a facilitator, because there's something about that. I keep hearing about RILA that it impacts you for the rest of your life. And I did, and it did impact me for the rest of my life. And I shared that moment with Paula and several other people from my club. But again, that's what Rotary gives you, an opportunity. And then you have other things like kids who are maybe in a debate team, or other parts of English classes, or other parts of your school that get involved and talk about the puts together something that fits a speech that talks about the four-way test. That's the heart and soul of Rotary, and they come together and all over the United States, and they put together a speech contest. And then that's another thing that they get involved in. I mean, I can go on. And then we have youth exchange, which is another huge thing that's all over Rotary International, where you have students coming from all over the world, exchanging ideas and cultures and embracing our differences. And sometimes that's what I try to emphasize with our members, is that we're not just the world is not the United States. The world encompasses all these different cultures. Yes. And I will summarize it this way. I grew up as a musician when I was a teenager up into my early 20s, not realizing at that moment that music is a language of peace. And then realizing that also was part of my foundation of what was going to be my future. And then I became a Rotarian. And guess what? I've been all around the world and meeting Rotarians from all over the world, only to realize that today I'm here representing Rotary as a district governor to tell you that also I found another language of peace, and that's Rotary.
Well, we got Dr. Monica Savage, and she listening to the conversation. A couple of things that she had mentioned about Rotarians. She met a Rotarian that came out, and some of them donated money to Sierra Leone. That's a country over in Africa. And then just by them coming out and understanding, she also put down, someone made blankets and she took them over for the babies.
Yeah.
Sierra Leone. All of those things are things that Rotarians do, and they inspire others to help and also get an understanding that everything. We're going to take a quick break, but we're going to come back because this is so interesting, and I want to pick it up and get back on this again. So I'll tell you what, if you want to be part of this great conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments on whichever platform that you're watching us on, asking the questions. I promise you we'll get you an answer. It's
JC, you can join the bus, buddy. Don't miss the bus, buddy. You can join the bus.
I like that, so we'll be back shortly after the break.
A Black Man's Point of View is the newest Amazon.com #1 release and bestseller book from author Dr. James J.C. Cooley. featuring the perspective from 11 other contributing authors. In A Black Man's Point of View, Dr. James Cooley unpacks his thoughts and personal experiences about the challenges, stereotypes, and feelings of self-worth that many black men face today due to a 400-year ancestry rooted in slavery and colonization. Yet, how so many black men move forward despite this history. Most importantly, A Black Man's Point of View conveys that all men, regardless of race, creed, or color, are capable of love, respect, and dignity. Described as a map to a greater life from the heart of a man who's experienced life's misfortune and harsh conditions, James shows us how beliefs, convictions, and a healthy mentality can help propel a life worth living. A must-read for all. Order your copy of A Black Man's Point of View by author Dr. James J.C. Cooley today from Amazon.com or wherever books are sold.
It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. Yeah. Come on.
At Meridian Christian University, we believe education is more than just a degree. It's a pathway to a purpose-driven life. Whether you're advancing your career, pursuing a passion, or building a new future, VCU's 100% online programs give you the flexibility to learn on your terms, anywhere, anytime. With expert faculty, personalized mentorship, and a faith-centered approach, you'll gain the skills, knowledge, and leadership you need to make a lasting impact. VCU offers bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees, each designed to empower you for success in today's fast-changing world. Join a global community of believers, learners, and leaders. Ready to start your journey? Meridian Christian University, transforming lives, empowering futures. Visit us at VeridianChristianUniversity.com. That's VeridianChristianUniversity.com.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I'm thoroughly enjoying this conversation. We have to have this young man back on again. We got to have him back on again, Paul, because we only going to get halfway through what we.
JC, I want that. I want to be able to download that music of yours, man. You got me dancing here in the background.
Hey, me and Paul will be dancing all
That's
the time.
right. Usually when they come back, he and I are doing our little boogie.
I mean, it's over here. It's almost 3 p.m. and you got me dancing. Gosh, dang.
I want to talk about this Meridian Christian University. I want to tell you, not just because I'm the chancellor, but I'll tell you what, we offer over 36 plus degree programs, bachelor's, master's, doctorate, and honorary doctorate degrees for people that are doing above and beyond. We are fully accredited. And I tell you, our university is out to give people a chance to further their education for a fraction of the cost. A fraction of the cost. So if you are looking to indulge in a Christian education, go to MeridianChristianUniversity.com. Again, that's MeridianChristianUniversity.com. I want to get back to this conversation. We got about 9 minutes left in the show. Lewis, you just laying it out there. I see the excitement. Anytime you mention Rotary, anytime that pop up, it's just all over the screen. So I'm gonna turn it back over to you, Paul.
You know what? One of the points I wanted to make that came up a little bit earlier that I think is so important. Lewis was talking about Interact and Rotaract and these programs that give young people the opportunity to be Rotarians, to get out into their communities, to find out who has need. And instead of just looking at their phones or being totally focused on their social circle, they're looking at the world. They're looking at who needs something, who needs some kind of help. And I'll tell you, one of my favorite parts of meetings is when Mary Murray, our youth advisor, talks about what the kids are up to. And right now they are collecting school supplies for kids who are homeless and kids who can't go to school with that perfect backpack and dressed perfectly and all of that. You know, I love the idea that instead of being focused here on that screen, they're focused out there in the world. That's one of my favorite things about our youth. And that's what I saw when we were in Ryla, Luis. I think you're really crazy about the youth and the youth programs too, aren't you?
Well, when I was very young, I played the violin, and as I mentioned, I got to travel quite a bit when I was younger, but I never had those opportunities in my high school. Now my high school has an Interact club, which is great, which is part of Rotary. But back then I didn't. My escape was music, and with music, I had people who really were there who helped me through scholarships to be able to travel to Europe and play some amazing music.
Mm-hmm.
But what I learned from that was that being part of a family of musicians, coming together as a team to create some beautiful music and having people just meet so many different cultures, understanding that the world doesn't revolve around us, we revolve around the world. At a very young age to understand that really opened my mind, and that we are different. I think that in our country, in the United States, if we all had a chance to travel abroad, I think we would look at the world a little bit different than we do now. But what I didn't realize, though, is that years later, present time, I do appreciate the programs that Rotary offers to our communities, through Interact, through now young professionals like Rotaract, through universities and communities, is that we do have an opportunity to really support and mentor those young people. Because when I was growing up, I had those opportunities, and one of those people, her name is Mrs. Miller, who many years ago passed away. She sat me down as a 16, 17-year-old and said, one day you're going to have that moment to pay it forward. And I've had multiple opportunities, but never as big as this right now.
Yes.
Try to impact those lives. But in the meantime, though, I don't want to do it all by myself. I'd rather fill that bus with all my Rotarians and participants. Hey, let's fill up not just one, but a lot of buses to really mentor these young people and give them an opportunity. And so I just think that they're our future. And what I've learned about this generation is that they really don't want to sit down in meetings like a lot of our Rotary clubs is, and sit down there for an hour and a half and listen to people. They just want to go out there and do service work. And I think that's what Rotary's realizing, is that these young people, they just want to help. Maybe at some point they'll get to the point where all that fellowship of sitting down and taking some time off,
take a little break.
Take a little break. But right now, what they want to do is they want to do beach cleanups. They want to collect computers and find a way how can they generate that money to help the elderly. They want to help the homes. They want to go down south the border and paint houses and build homes. And so it's amazing. And I think the more, you don't have to be a Rotarian to do good, but you can at least, hey, you can come have fun with us, but you can help the youth and embrace them and mentor them so that we can create more opportunities of love. And that's kind of how I look at it, just creating of love.
And, you know, I think, Luis, a lot of people don't realize we raise money in Rotary to give it away to great causes, to 501c3s who are trying to do beautiful work. So I want our audience to understand, if you have a cause, if you have a group you're helping, if you're a 501c3, contact your local Rotary and see what you need to do to apply for a grant. We give away thousands of dollars. Our club in Rancho Santa Fe, and I am honored to be the secretary of the foundation, which is the giving part of the club. So look into that. And Luis, you know, before we run out of time, tell people how they can reach out to you if they want to, or if they want you to speak or want to know more about Rotary.
Yeah, so before I go there, I do want to acknowledge Barbara Mirembe from Uganda. If you're watching this, I want to share on that same note, is that our local club here in San Diego, we have many clubs that have actually been part of global grants that have done great causes in Uganda. So Barbara, I'm not sure if you may be aware, but for example, one of our Rotary clubs, which Paula and I are part of, have given medical supplies to be able to help thousands and thousands of people in towns in Uganda. I know one of our biggest club, which is like the 12th or 13th largest in the world, actually helped create a hospital in Uganda. So it's great to see somebody from Uganda, because there is a lot of great stories of Rotary's impact in that country. And so it's wonderful to see somebody from there. And JC Cooley, I know you mentioned I heard that you were visiting Ghana. I've had the opportunity and the pleasure to meet so many people from Ghana in my Rotary journey in the last year and a half, and some amazing stories of amazing how many Rotarians over there are connecting with other Rotaries here in the United States and just impacting so many lives. I mean, it powers me, it fuels me to see the impact of Rotarians all over the world, in Africa, in Asia, in South America, in Latin America. And so what I'm trying to tell you is we've got I've got 1.4 million Rotarians all over the world that are doing good, that are really coming together. And yes, a local club in San Diego, local club in your hometown where I'm be, it makes a difference. It really, truly makes a difference.
Wow, we out of time right now, but Louis, I was serious about inviting you back on if your schedule permits. Yes, I'm getting ready to head to Ghana in about 3 weeks, and I would love to chat with you all about potential things that we're going to do when I start a school over there, and we need supplies like computers and stuff. I can share that with you guys.
And I'll just say that if you want to visit our district and more information, just go to rotary5340.org. That's rotary5340.org.
I want to thank you so much for coming on the show, Paula. It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. I'd like to thank Michelle for putting together another outstanding show. And most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and our listeners for tuning in to the James Cooley Show Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, live on all of these different platforms, 171 countries. Always, always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life.